It should be live at this point. How's it going, everybody? It's the Osmo.com NHL DFS strategy show. We've got a 3-gamer, could be worse, on Friday, I suppose. Got spoiled a little bit with the 8-game slate or whatever we had, but unbalanced, or 8 games, I guess, last Friday. Unbalanced this week. Couple 11 gamers, 2 gamers, 3 gamers. So, oh well, you got to play the cards you're dealt. And a weird one last night. That Colorado game was absolutely insane. I wasn't watching a ton of it, but I was just watching the beat writers just tweet and just constantly refreshing. I was watching the football game, and was annoying for a number of reasons. One of those being that I was on McKinnon and figured we'd see some weird lines. We did see some weird lines, and it didn't matter for the people that didn't swap and actually that won. And Tom actually took down a tournament, keeping in I think it was Nieto, and he scored a shorthanded goal. So we've seen that a couple of times. Okay. Someone will probably pick up that email, Liam. If you email support, it's me and Josh and Ben and Nolan. So one of our guys is gone. So I've been doing a little bit more of kind of support stuff like that. So it'll get answered, hopefully in a very timely fashion. I can check it out after the show if need be. Tonight, like I said, 3-gamer. We've got some free stuff. As always, we're giving away. You might have noticed the rankings are up here. The value grades, the stack point ranking, all that good stuff is up here today because this is actually free today, the lineup builder, for NHL specifically. So there's the link in chat. You're going to want to click that link directly, otherwise you will not get access to it. So click on that and play around. Click some guys in, see how your lineup comes along, see your GPA, and then you can export to Draftkings and Fanduel. And pretty cool tool if you like hand building. I know a lot of you guys don't make lineups with FC. This might be a tool that you would enjoy. And then if you want access to everything, NHL Free Week is the promo code. There's only about 1 week left for you guys to redeem that. I see a bunch of you have. So good to see a bunch of you guys joining Slack and all that. Make sure when you do take advantage of the free week, you actually do come and join Slack. I think pretty good community in there. Not super crowded in NHL chat, and I think a lot of people helping each other out and making sure we're on the right line combos and stuff. And then, of course, with that membership, you get projections. Ownership projections was actually just dropped today. Just dropped before this. And then did I say point projections? Yeah, point projections, stacks, all that stuff. Those only work. The free week promo code, NHL Free Week, only works for the NHL Weekly or the NHL Weekly Express packages. You won't get billed for 7 days. Feel free to cancel anytime if you don't like it. But no real reason to not try it out. If you're looking to see what we offer. We are presented by Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports, as always. Yahoo is a very good place to play if you're looking to save some money and hopefully increase your long-term ROI. This is huge. 10.1% management fees on their NFL contest. They brought out NHL contests as well, just a little bit smaller. The $12 is one that we found to be pretty good in the Osmo Slack, and then they've got a $3 as well, 7 max. So not just single entry stuff, but Yahoo is a very good place to play. If you like playing NBA over there, really good like mid-sized contests. Like we've got 10K to first, and I think a 50K prize pool for NHL. So pretty jealous of the over on like Draftkings, which is probably the biggest site for NHL. So pretty jealous of the NBA contest they've got going on over on Yahoo. 10K to first. Pretty tough to beat that with, I think it's at a 10% management fee over here. 12%. But still a about 75% of what you're going to pay in management fee compared to other sites. So you're saving money. So get over to Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports. Use promo code AWESEMO when you do the thing, and you can get up to $30 in Yahoo Sports rewards points. What am I getting? Oh, okay, cool. Interesting. So we'll talk about last night, unfortunately. Well, at least for us. But Tom, I think Tom ended up tying here. Lineup study is not... It's not loading. One more thing we've got for free today is the NBA rankings. So feel free to click on these if you're playing NBA tonight. I think it's an 11-game slate. So check those out if you have not already. We do a piece of free content each day that is usually premium. Just to try to get everyone involved and get people to see what they like and pick out a membership for them. Lineup study, like I said. Why is Krug so expensive? Kind of want to roster him. That's the point. Yeah. Did he really, Nolan? Oh, man. I mean, when you're just that rich. Okay, so Nolan said, Tom said he knew about the new lines and was too lazy to change. Haha. The new Colorado lines. All right. So, okay, we've got the links here. Let me click on this tournament. And you guys can see I got smoked. Oh, wait, this is the wrong tournament. Where is this? 20K. Wait, this wasn't 20K to first, was it? Oh, wait, did Testosterone win this? Is that right? Testosterone did. Okay, I hadn't seen Testosterone up there. Testosterone also did not... oh, yeah, he did make the change. He did make the change to Calvert. That was the correct swap. Strome, DeBrincat, Kane. So classic what you see out of him. 6 points out of his goalie. It didn't really matter. He had Gio. Man, the defense didn't really matter either. Mr. Good Seats crushed last night. Didn't know he played hockey. I've seen him a little bit play hockey, but he had a bunch near the top in the $10 as well. And then looks like he did pretty well here. So congrats to Testosterone, Mr. Good Seats. Mr. Good Seats did not... He had an unconventional lineup. I mean, I don't know if he got the line combo wrong or what. Tomorrow, your lineup study will be talking about me. Nice. I like that. I like that attitude. That's what I like to see. Burakovsky got a goal, 2 assists. So kind of an unconventional 3-man here with Kadri, Burakovsky, and McKinnon. And then unconventional Blackhawks stack too. No DeBrincat. Instead got Shaw. Got a goal out of Shaw. So interesting. I wonder if we need to study Mr. Good Seats at some point. Let me go to Tom. Too lazy to change, he says. His words, not mine. He tied with Mr. Good Seats here. I think Mr. Good Seats finally got that last shot on goal. I saw him chasing down Tom a little bit, and they both tied with the exact same score. Different lineups, though. Tom had McKinnon, Donskoy, did not late swap out Nieto. I think Calvert scored anyways, so it ended up not really mattering. But it's happened a number of times this year where if anybody didn't see the line combos, we kind of talked about it on the show. Well, I talked about it. I guess it was just me yesterday. Talked about how we were expecting maybe some changes from Colorado, and I thought that McKinnon and Donskoy were pretty safe to be together, and I thought maybe we see Kadri with them. So I put all my lineups as Kadri, and then I was chasing for the majority of the night because nothing good happened for me early, outside of a couple of Florida 1 goals, but the stack didn't even really do anything. Figured Washington 1 was probably the nuts, so I just left the Colorado power play in the most of my my stacks, but I switched over to Calvert in a number of them as well, and it didn't really matter for me. I don't even know. A couple snuck in closer to the top, but I was still a good margin away. So Mr. Goodseats and Tom both left in, or I'm sorry, Mr. Goodseats had Burakovsky. Tom left in Nieto, still bigged. I mean, when you got it sometimes. And no, he was probably making NBA swaps too. So he plays way more NBA. And won 10K here. Great job, as always. Stacking is not dead, right? So he ran a 5-3-1 here. Correlated goalie with Crawford. That was huge. Got the 35 save bonus very late. 2.9% ownership. That was massive. Duncan Keith got the bonus there with the block shots. 1 assist, 2 shots on goal. So it adds up with these bonuses. And then the Nieto goal. Nieto multi-point game. Chicago won, was solid, but I mean the real story was the second period for Colorado. They just went completely nuclear. McKinnon actually didn't even play the whole game once they got up a lot. I think they just took him out for precautionary reasons. Smart on their part. Like, they cannot have him be going out. Already Ranston and Landeskog missing. So switched off Ovi, Russ, Duclair to Aho, Svechnikov, Fogle. Cost me $450. Yeah, that's tough. I mean, but you got to remember. Wait, what? You got to remember that you got to change as the information changes, right? So I think it's almost always the right call to get the correct line combos if you can. But sometimes it works out when you don't, right? Yeah. Anyways, I wish we had lineup study to see Tom's exposures. Maybe we could look at this tomorrow, unless something weird happens on the 3-gamer tonight. But let's actually look at. There's a couple 3-game slates. Let's see. I pulled them up. 10-9. We haven't had a 3-game slate in almost a month. So I was trying to find exactly 3. I was looking at myself here to see if I performed well, and I did not. But let's look at 10-11 first. Laker great. 150er. Almost always running out the 150 lineups. See, he's not getting super crazy with his exposure sums here. This was a Friday slate. I actually remember this for whatever reason. Brock Nelson, multi-point game. Carolina. I can't remember exactly what the lines were here, but it looks like let's see, 3. Was that a line? Halla? Interesting. Hoffman scored late. I do actually remember this slate a little bit. Kind of weird. Is there a cutoff where you won't update FC lines based on news? I don't update the lines on FC. That they get them from somewhere, and then they update them. But you're going to have to make manual changes a lot of the times if it's closer to lock, because the sites, wherever they get them from, Daily Faceoff, Left Wing Lock, they don't update within the last half hour of lock, and that's when stuff changes. So you're kind of on your own there, but that's what makes it good, I think, because a lot of people will just not do the changes or not pay attention or whatever. But yeah, Laker great. Was really solid here. Not conventional 3-3s for the most part here. And I think that's a smart play. I'm doing a lot of 3-2-1 tonight. I do like the 3-2-1 on shorter slates, as I've talked about. I'll have some 3-3s for sure. But I think 3-2-1, especially tonight, because of, like, if you run a 3-3 with Boston, even if you roll out like a third line, like Vancouver 3 with them or something, you're still going to be duped, very likely. So I just like, let's see. I like that, like, I love this about Laker greats exposures here in a 3-game slate. Like 5 lineups out of 150 are duped. That's amazing. And he's playing very good players too. Like he's not playing, fourth line, 2-man type of thing. Like, look at his exposures here. they're all pretty quality players, as quality as you could have gotten for this slate. And you see really flat across the board. This is my kind of play style on a 3-game slate. Hoffman, Atkinson, Eichel, Barkov, Huberdeau, Seth Jones. I mean, these are all really good players. He's got at 20+%, but you just kind of mix and match your combos, and I think this is a really good way to play. I think Laker Great is a solid player. Of course, Slewfoot too, like one of, if not the best NHL player so far. Look, what is that? 12 lineups if we look at it, something like that. 12 lineups duped. That's what you want to see. Let's see. I don't even know what I did here. I'm way down here, actually. We're not even going to find me. Maybe we can find me on the other slate. Let's look at what Slewfoot did on this one. This was 10-9, if anybody's following along. Slewfoot tied for first here. Oh, this was the Vancouver going nuts. So he had a bunch of Vancouver power play stacks. Pettersson, Besser, Miller. I think Horvat was here. Yeah, Horvat. Alex Edler was on the top power play. So chalky. Like, you look at their individual exposures, but they were all really good plays. And you put them together in a different way, you're not going to have that many dupes. So his top lineup was actually duped. See, like 49 dupes, 42 dupes, 12 dupes. I don't know. You just don't want that. So now that we have ownership projections, I think it's easier to see. But like if something fits like a glove, especially on a 3-game slate, like you're just probably going to get duped. And maybe it's not the best idea to play that line, in my opinion. I don't know. Play that lineup, I should say, not that line. You want to win it by yourself. And it worked out here. 3 dupes. Like, you can deal with that. 3 dupes, that's not the end of the world. But if this wins first place, I'll just take my L. 49 dupes, 42 dupes. I'll just take my L and move it on. Testosterone is better than Slewfoot? I don't know. You sure about that? Slewfoot's pretty good. We'll see. Maybe he is. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think Slewfoot's better than Testosterone? Or you think Testosterone's better than Slewfoot? It's close, I think. Testosterone sucks, Nick says in chat. All right. Slewfoot way better. Both are very good. I agree. Both are very good at what they do. Maybe you don't like their play style, but freaking Boom. Boom's been pretty quiet lately. Tampa, he's talking now because Tampa is scoring goals or whatever in Sweden. But I did not play that. Can Osmo hire one of those guys? Yeah, Slewfoot. Come. I'm sure Slewfoot, that's on the top of his priorities to work at Osmo. But no. Both are better than me. Me too, I think. So you're not alone there. How does Testosterone do in the high dollar rooms, 1K entry, etc.? It's a good question. I don't look at those very often because I don't play them. It just depends what you think the true, like what the best players should be the best at, right? I think Slewfoot's great at all different types of stakes from what I've seen. Not that Testosterone isn't, but they're both one of the best MME players. There's no doubt about that. All right, yeah. So I don't know. Lineup study's not loading today. Must be having some issues. No problem. We can maybe look at this slate tomorrow on the strategy show. It'll just be me going through everything. I don't even know what we got going on tomorrow as far as games. Hopefully we have an early slate. I kind of like the early ones, like the little early 3-gamers or 4-gamers. I think we got a 2-gamer. Yeah, 2 games and then 9 main slate. All right, we can deal with that. We can deal with that. Okay. Let's close out of that. Congrats again to Tom. I saw Eddie was up there. Mr. Good Seats, stud. Didn't know he played NHL DFS, but gonna have to keep an eye out for him. See if he's going to. He's a huge NBA guy, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So we'll see. Sissima is the best. I don't know. Maybe. All right. Not going to talk about the Tampa game because that's already starting. That's in Sweden, I believe. Ownership is out. If you want to check that out, promo code NHL Free Week is how you get access to that for an entire week. I think a pretty good promo. I mean, it's free, so even if you don't think it's any good, which I think you'd be wrong, but even if you don't, you can cancel whenever you want. Come in Slack, come troll me, come share your thoughts about the slate. Do whatever you want within reason. How do you feel about Winnipeg 1? We'll get there. Is it 2-1 Tampa? All right. Not that it matters. I didn't play, but good luck to the people sweating showdown. All right, 3.6 implied total for the Bruins, 2.5 for Detroit, Tuukka Rask and Jonathan Bernier in net. And right off the bat, another Boston 1 slate. They seem to dominate no matter what happens. It's just a matter of, do they score 2 goals or do they score 4? And I think that's going to be the case here. Very tough to imagine them not dominating the possession game. Especially if they're not matched up a lot with the Larkin line. But I will say, fantastic power play spot. If you fade Boston, you're going to be tilting probably when Pastrnak scores his power play goal. I think he's got 15 goals in 15 games or something crazy. So don't freak out if you fade Boston and they score a goal early. It's not over. We still have McDavid on this slate. I obviously like Boston 1 a lot. Another guy that sticks out to me, and you can see that in the value grades, is I like Charlie Coyle actually quite a bit for 3,500. He is on the top power play right now, or at least he's listed there. And might be a good way to differentiate or do just a Boston power play stack. It's just an exceptional power play spot for the Bruins. And then Krug at 5,800, obviously a guy you can add on if you can somehow make that work. So a lot of my Boston lineups will be 3-2-1s. Just trying to use a different number of cheap one-offs with some 2-man stacks to try to be different. Coyle going to smash, double dong. I wouldn't mind that. I like Coyle tonight. With the power play 1 tag, I don't think he's not going to go completely overlooked or anything like that. But he's a third line center. Right now, we've got ownership being pretty flat, and actually, Boston 1. They're a little bit lower owned than the McDavid line. That makes sense because they're on the road. Similar totals. You've got McDavid at home. They're a little bit cheaper. I mean, barely, but you can't really play both of them. It's impossible to full stack them. But even if you do some 3-2 combo, you're still not going to be able to do that really. So, I don't want to say I prefer the one over the other because I'm going to have a lot of both of them. I'm probably going to have both of them over 20%. And with the different types of lineup construction, it's not going to, I don't think they're going to decide the slate. It's going to be whatever else happens. But I do think I'm going to be overweight on Detroit 1. Just an elite line. They're at home. Maybe they get shelter a little bit from the from Boston 1. That's what you'd like to see if you play Detroit 1. But they've got numbers as good as about anyone over the last year, outside maybe the upper echelon of lines with the Boston 1s and the Colorado 1s and lines like that. But they're they're close and they're dirt cheap and they're all A values, even though it is a tough 5-on-5 matchup. They play so incredibly high event that I'm fine rolling them out, especially on a short slate. I think I would consider Detroit 1 pretty heavily if I'm playing just one lineup. And I know, like, they're tough to click on against Boston with the low implied total, but they're way, way, way too cheap. Not only are they too cheap, but they're really awesome, too. Robbie Fabry, and so he got traded from St. Louis. He's going to make his Wings debut, maybe give a jolt to that second line. Seems like they have a decent amount of talent with Athanasiou and Fabry. I'm more looking at Athanasiou one-offs for 4,300. I don't love a lot outside of the top lines for both teams. Pierlini's a guy I'll get to some. Like when I'm running 3-2-1 and Boston 1's my 3, gonna need some cheap fillers, and I'm gonna be using some Pierlini for 2,800. Not because I love Pierlini, but because he does shoot at a decent amount. And he's probably going to get the depth lines for Boston, even though those aren't very fun lines to play against either. McAvoy down to the third pairing. I don't really know. I know he hasn't been good so far this year from a DFS perspective, but it seems weird to see him. I think he was under 20 minutes last game too, maybe the last couple of games. The Nemeth-Hronek pairing for Detroit has been pretty solid. Boston 1's a tough task, so would take that with a grain of salt. And I think there are ways where Boston 1 fails here. So if I was playing one lineup, I would probably shade more towards the McDavid side of things. But more likely, I think I would play Detroit 1, especially in a single entry. You're going to see elevated ownership, I think, on both Boston 1 and Edmonton 1. It's close. It's really close. Other defensemen in this game, Cholowski, he's just on the top power play, 3,500. I think just an optimizer play, even though he's not getting a good value from us. I think he might just be someone that people get to. He's not very good, but he's 3,500. I'd be more looking to play Filip Hronek for 4,500 if I could. I just want anyone that correlates to Detroit 1, so I'm unfortunately going to have some of Cholowski, even though he stinks. It's a short slate. Goalies, on my non-Detroit 1 lineups, I'm probably going to have quite a bit of Rask. I don't think the volume is that big of an issue. I think outside of when Detroit 1's on the ice, a lot of the volume he sees, too, is probably going to be pretty low danger because every other line has a big advantage against, 2, 3, and 4 from Detroit. So that's how I feel about it. Rask is probably going to be my highest owned goalie on the slate. Running 150 lineups, by the way, I should say that. I registered for 150 and almost instantly regretted it because I hadn't really run crunches before, and with I don't know. It just doesn't seem like a great MME slate, but we continue to fire. All right, Vancouver and the Jets, 3.1 implied total for the Canucks, 3.3 for the Jets. Thatcher Demko expected to go. Markstrom went last night, and then Connor Hellebuck for the Jets. As I said, Vancouver on the back-to-back. I'm not sure why it wouldn't be Hellebuck. Maybe the Jets play tomorrow. Let's see. No, they play Sunday. So, well, maybe. I don't know. It could be either one. I would put in Hellebuck and then swap down if you need to. Pretty sure it's going to be Thatcher Demko for the Canucks. But anyways, this one's a pretty fun game, I think. Winnipeg's defenseman core, we talked about it a number of times, not very good. You just look at the names. Top pairing, Tucker Poolman, Dmitry Kulikov, Pionk. I mean, he's not great. He does eat up quite a few minutes. So I actually like Pionk as like a secondary defenseman play. I think there's some offensive ability there. And then, like I said, the minutes, 22, almost 23, and then 29, and then 23 and a half his last few games. So if you put him at like the 22, 23 minute mark, 4,100, pretty nice price there in a game where goals are expected. Winnipeg swapped their lines, probably saving me from myself here because, you take Wheeler off that line at 5,800 and Line A is basically the same price. He's 100 cheaper, but I have Wheeler being way better than, or a little bit better fantasy points. So the Winnipeg one would be crazy high exposure for me. Here it's going to be a little bit more of a split. Funky power plays with Wheeler not listed on the top unit. Who knows if that'll stick? I have no clue. It looks like the Jets are just in blender mode. You could easily see Wheeler back with Scheifele and Connor, and Roslovic centering or something. The second line, who knows? But Brian Little's not playing. It's just like what? Whatever. I don't make the rules, but interesting to see that DK reacted so quick to Wheeler not being a center. Or I'm sorry, Wheeler going to be a center. Because the news came out like 2 days ago, and the Jets haven't played for a few days, so I just figured they'd miss that and he'd be a winger. But they got it right. So I prefer the Jets top line, even though I hate that Wheeler's off the top one. I will have a lot of like Jets 5-man stacks and 4-man weird hybrid stacks with like Scheifele, Connor, Wheeler, Line A, or something like that. With the balanced power play units, I'm fine playing pretty much whatever defenseman with either of the top two lines. So there's no real correlation. Like I said, I don't know if these are going to stick or which unit is actually going to go out on the ice first. So I'm just kind of trying to play the best players for the Jets. And I think it is a really good spot for them. Wasn't really impressed with Vancouver last night. They gave up 5 goals to the Hawks. Backup goalie, likely in net. You just kind of want to stay away from the Pettersson Miller Besser line. I think the Wheeler line will probably see the most time against them. They're probably going to want to keep, Line is not good defensively, so they're probably going to want to keep him away from Pettersson, JT Miller, and Besser. But who knows? I mean, who knows? I don't have a super strong feeling on that. So I'm focusing on the Winnipeg side. Number one, I'm going to have some full Vancouver 1 stacks. But outside of that, it's really just Horvat. Gaudette played like 9 minutes last night, or under 9 minutes. So I'm a little bit worried about full stacking the Horvat line. Do you like the Jets' first line over Detroit's first line? They're all really bunched up in ownership. I guess I would. As a multi-entry play for sure. I think I would. I've got more Wheeler, Scheifele, Connor than Detroit one, and Line A for that matter. You just said Line A not good at D. Winnipeg isn't the same team defensively. Vancouver could take off here. Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's a 6.5 total. It's a pretty even game. He's not good defensively, and I don't think the Jets are going to be. And you've got a really good line in Vancouver 1. So yeah, I think there definitely could be some goals scored on Vancouver's side. Don't mind Sutter, Levo, Virtanen if you're trying to get super cheap, or punt with the 2-man with Sutter and one of the other 2 guys. That's fine. It's, you could play them with Edler and hope the power play units stick. But it's like, does that make you want to play more of the big line? What's the big line? I don't know what that means. For Tannen one-off, you could probably find better one-offs. You got him as a D value, E points grade, so I think you can find better ones. I like Perlini a little bit better for what it's worth, and he's cheaper. Like I said, it's tough to try to figure out what the correlation is going to be with the defenseman here. So Morrissey and Pionk are the two guys I'm looking at. Scheifele, Connor, Morrissey isn't terrible. Yeah, it's not bad. I mean, 3 solid players. Like, I have the most exposure to Winnipeg, but it's all funky when running out 3-2-1s because like I said, some of my lineups will be like I'm looking at one right now that's Scheifele, Wheeler, Line, Connor, Roslovic with Morrissey. So essentially a Josh stack, and then fill in the rest. Like, I'll have a bunch of lineups like that. I think it is a really good spot for Winnipeg, and also a good spot for Vancouver on the back-to-back against what you would expect to be a pretty bad defensive team. The problem is I don't know how to get super creative with Vancouver outside of like power play stacking. That gets super expensive really quick if you include Horvat. All Jersey and Pennsylvania players eligible for Bankroll Challenge. What's the Bankroll Challenge? Roslovic 2,600, yeah. A value. I mean, what do we have him for ownership right now? Roslovic is Tom's guy. He banked with Roslovic. He had a huge night last year. 12.6% for Roslovic. It's probably a little bit over-owned. But I like the line, so I'm going to have some. Take Vancouver or fade back-to-back. Winnipeg knows they're bad at defense. I like the Winnipeg side if I'm choosing just one. Your boy Fantenberg is min salary. We liked him on the Kings last year. He shoots. Fantenberg? God. That's brutal. But there's not a lot of great punt defensemen. Like, there's really no one in this game. Clifton, I guess, if you wanted to punt, but it's not like he does much offensively. But that's what you get when you play $2,500 defenseman. Kulikov. These guys all have E and D points grades. I think Pionk should probably be up a little bit. I like Pionk. All right. Goalies here. Hellebuck is right now my second highest owned guy. Probably will stick there. I just think the volume's going to be there, and I think this is a winnable game. And even if he gets, gives up a couple goals here, you're still not dead. I think he is one of the guys on the slate that is pretty much locked in for a bunch of volume. Even on the back-to-back, Winnipeg's just pretty below average defensively. So, volume's king. I've heard me say that a bunch of times. I do believe that. So I'm giving goalies who I think are going to see a little bit of a higher volume than the other guys a little bit of a bump. If Fantenberg scores tonight, Jake has to drink a Fanta on tomorrow's show. I don't have Fanta, but maybe I'll go out and get one if he scores. Get Gatorade today. Oh, I've never heard of that. Tomorrow, I've never heard of that challenge. How many Nemeth Bernier lineups you got? Well, Bernier is my lowest exposure goalie right now, and I don't have any Nemeth, so I will say 0. All right, let's go to the last game, because we've got more uncertainty here. 2.8 implied total for the Devils, 3.6 for the Oilers. Corey Schneider expected to go for the Devils there on a back-to-back. And Mikko Koskinen for the Oilers. He's confirmed. So this one would be decently easy to talk about. Well, let's talk about the Oilers side actually first. McDavid, Draisaitl back with Kassian. that line's fine at 5-on-5. Nugent Hopkins with Neal and Chase on. I actually don't hate that line. I like that they got Kara off the top 6. He doesn't deserve to be in the top 6. Chason's not terrible. He's 3,200. I actually really like Nugent Hopkins. He always grades out so well for me. Like, he's always playing 20 minutes. He's never really that owned. You can add him in with McDavid and Draisaitl at a pretty decent cost at 4,700 as a way to differentiate. So it's Edmonton power play here. That's the spot you want to attack against the Devils. I don't think the Devils are as terrible as they've shown, but it's really tough to play a ton of Oilers without McDavid. I always talk about that, but it is a short slate. So I'm going to have some Nugent Hopkins, Neal, and Chase on. I think they're actually a pretty good stack tonight. Play them alone. You can play them with McDavid. Of course, try to get a McDavid if you can, but I know it's not that easy when you're trying to fit in Boston 1 or some Winnipeg top skaters or stuff like that. But I did want to make it a point to say that I do really like Edmonton. I like the 3 chalk teams tonight. What can I say? I do really like chalk. Always, it seems like. Nugent Hopkins or Neal? I like Neal a little bit better. A value grade, B points grade. Top line, Nurse. Oh, is it? It's not Ethan Bear. Not a big deal. So the Devils going to change things around. I have no clue what that means. That could mean Heischer, Hall, Palmieri stays together. That could mean they're all 3 on different lines. And it's Hughes with, I don't even know, like you could see Zajac pop up with Hall and Palmieri. I think that's, like, we're pretty live for that. You could see Zajac with Coleman and Wood. I mean, I just have no idea what the Devils are going to do. It's a back-to-back. We just know there's going to be changes. So that stinks because it is a Friday night, and you're probably not going to be around your phone. But if you, for whatever reason, are going to be around your phone or your laptop, pretty good chance for late swap. The problem here is that I don't think it's that good of a spot anyways for the Devils, even if they have their optimal lines. And the Oilers have not been that bad defensively. It is a back-to-back. So with all that kind of uncertainty, I'm just looking to get away from playing a ton of Devils. I will have Hall with Palmieri. I will have some super cheap 2-mans of like Zajac, Coleman, but that's just a product of getting in Boston 1 and stuff like that, or the Edmonton side. So I don't want to just disregard a team, but this is probably my least favorite team of the night. And this probably goes without saying, but you can always play Hall as a one-off. You can probably play Palmieri as a one-off for 5,900. Just be ready to swap. If you're playing a lot of Devils, or if you have, if you're a single lineup person and you just want to take advantage of getting the right combos and a team that no one's going to be on, then by all means, do that. But this has nothing to do with me not being around to make late swaps, because I probably could anyways. I just don't love the spot for the Devils. So it's going to be mostly 2-mans and one-off Taylor Halls. You guys know I love me some Taylor Hall, but not going to be heavy on the Devils here. Looking at where their ownership is at, Hall almost 20%. I think that's probably right for him. Palmieri just barely in double digits. And then, oh man. So I haven't taken a super long look at ownership because it just came out before the show. We're going to get an under-owned Vancouver 1 again. And you guys probably have this problem too if you're using an optimizer. Can you come back to Osmo basketball? Josh Engelman. What? I don't. Certainly do not try to analyze basketball, the NBA. Oh, I'm glad you think I'm good. my winnings last night would tell you otherwise, and maybe the last few nights. Oilers coach made some interesting comments about back-to-backs. What did the Oilers coach say? We've got time. Minus $2,000. That's probably what I am the last few days. Yeah. I thought I was going to be like losing 80% of my entry fees last night, and I somehow got, I think, almost half back. Which I felt like was a win, but I was like, man, you're full of it, Jake. Not like Josh's baseball. I'm full of it? I mean, all right. Whatever. What else do we got here? Clefbaum, Nurse, play the two best defensemen here. Clefbaum's fantastic, playing huge minutes, plays with McDavid on the power play, and Draisaitl. 6K, almost 6K is not too highly priced. Clefbaum, if we're just talking about like one-off defenseman, I think he's my favorite guy. Nurse is right up there. Nurse, Clefbaum, Krug, and Morrissey right now are my favorites. Outside of that, it is pretty tough to get to a bunch of defensemen tonight. So I don't know if I'm gonna play a lot of defensemen in my flex tonight, or allow for it when I'm using Fantasy Cruncher. I probably will avoid playing a lot of defensemen. I just don't think there's very many. And be nice if he was on a power play. Who? Nurse? Is Nurse been not playing on the power play? I have no clue what you're saying, Jarrell Martin. I have no idea what that means. Severson? Oh. Yeah, it would be. It would be nice. He's fine for 3K. That's actually a pretty good punt. But, man, if the Devils beat me tonight with the line changes, I will just take my loss, honestly. So, going to be underweight. All right, what else do we got here? You guys got any questions for me? If you do, feel free. We got about 10 minutes if we want to. Let's see. Kulikov goal. Yeah, some defenseman's going to score tonight. Laffy likes Coke. How come no one has tipped you? Well, it doesn't go to me. I think it just goes to the channel. I have no clue how that even works. Yeah. Like I said, just to recap, teams I like the best. Well, I'm going to fit in Vancouver 1. I have to. I've seen these ownerships. We were a little bit low on them for like our ownership projection last night. We might be a little bit low again, but they have the best numbers of really any line. I shouldn't say any line. We have McDavid and Boston, but they have similar numbers to them. So, yeah, I really do. I really do want to figure out a way to fit in a bunch of Vancouver 1. Talking about the Pettersson line, and then I like Winnipeg, but I'm going to be really unconventional with my Winnipeg stacks. It's just how it's going to be. 50 watching, 15 likes. Yeah, if you could hit the like button, that does actually help us out. I know we're not going to get the gaudy like numbers on this type of slate because there's 3 people and not a lot of people watch when there's shorter slates, and NBA takes priority. But if you could, that would be very helpful. How do you manage one-offs in 3-2-1 stacks? If I'm hand building, I like to get one-offs that have upside by themselves. So guys that shoot a lot, that create a lot of high danger chances. So, for example, a guy like Ehlers, would be careful with playing a guy like Gaudette. I don't know if he's going to get moved down or what. But like Athanasiou, like he's a game breaker type player. Mantha, Larkin, like those high shot volume guys. Can you give your opinion on Mike Green? I just don't know if the minutes are safe on Green playing with Madison Bowie. That's what's holding me back here. We got him as an A value grade. The points grade isn't great. Let's see where I got to him. I mean, I got to a little bit of him, but I just wonder if they're going to ease him back in. He's missed the last few games. He was getting decent minutes before that, 20, 22, 19, 19. I think he's better than Cholowski as a one-off. Like Cholowski as a one-off, I'm going to try to avoid that because I think his upside is just tied to Detroit getting hot on the power play. Fabry one-off for the win. Not bad. 2,500. You could definitely do worse. Fade Boston 1. Well, I'm not really intentionally ever trying to fade anyone, but unless I think the ownership is just completely wrong, I'll X some teams out. Like, or not wrong, but I think it's too high. Like, I think the field is just playing a line or a team way too much, and I just don't like it at all. I'll just X them out. Like I should have done with Toronto yesterday. They weren't grading out very well for me. But hindsight's 2020. I shouldn't say they weren't grading out well for me. There were other teams, other lines that were grading out way better, and the ownership was not reflected like that. Detroit over under 15 shots on goal. I think they're going to put up some shots. Like I think Detroit's going to put up 25, 30 shots here. So that's why I was saying I like Rask. The win equity is, of course, going to bump him up, but like I think he's going to see decent volume. Do you ever double punt min salary D and jam in stud forwards? That is called the Josh Harris right there. You know, you've got the Josh stack, the Josh double punt. I don't even know. Tonight it would be like, you know, just for example, it'd be something like this where you just hammer Boston 1 or, you know, all the Winnipeg stuff. I guess Winnipeg's not even that expensive, but, you know, you just hammer all these guys. I don't even know who else fits. That would be what you're looking to do. But no, I don't like that very often. With my defenseman, I think Cliffy talked about it once. With your defenseman here, it's like, yeah, you could do that, Tyler. That's fine. Especially in a smaller field tournament. I think that's not a bad play. I want at least one of my defensemen to be live for the combo meal, as he says. You want him to be live for the big block shot game, the big shot on goal game, guys that have upside by themselves. I would like at least one of them in most of my lineups. So like Stetcher or whatever, he's coming up for me when I don't account for ownership. But he's probably getting boosted from last year when he was playing like 30 minutes some games. I mean, it was just outrageous. And he still wasn't doing much. So I try to avoid playing a lot of guys like that. That one, don't play on the power play. Two, don't have high individual Corsi numbers and stuff like that. Fontenberg. Good God. Where is Fontenberg? Am I missing him here? I don't even see him. Is he playing tonight? Shows you how much I know. Yep, Cliff in Premium Slack says hard to believe Wheeler not on PP1. I agree. That's why it's more of a guessing game. Cast a wide net with Winnipeg. The lines could get switched up. I have no idea. Okay, Tanev's going to draw in. Okay, fair enough. I will update projections if I see anything. We've got cheat sheets out on the site. We've got power plays. Tomorrow we'll have a show. The time's always tricky depending on when they record On the Contrary. So On the Contrary would be early afternoon Eastern time, and then I'll see where we can fit in a show, whether it's a little bit earlier or a little bit later. Feel free to give us a like if you do enjoy this. It helps us continue to do it for free, as we say on all of our shows, but it actually really does help us with the algorithms and helps us, continue to make money at this. If you want some free content that's usually premium, NHL Free Week is the promo code. That expires a week from today. So you've got a couple more days to mull it over, but you might as well just take advantage. You're going to have a couple big slates next week. So you'll get some short slates, you'll get some bigger slates, and you'll get ownership projections for DraftKings, point projections from Alex and myself, rankings, stack rankings, the stats for each player each night. Premium Slack is huge for NHL and getting the right combos closer to game time, and then Nolan's line change article as well for bigger slates. So come try us out. It is free. Speaking of free, NBA rankings today. Those are free. Use those if you're playing NBA DFS. Shout out to Yahoo Daily Fantasy Sports for sponsoring us. They are hopefully the proud sponsor of the NHL Strategy Show. So go support Yahoo. Go play their NHL contest tonight. Definitely want to go play their NFL contest this weekend. And then NBA, if you dabble in that, some softer competition over there and still pretty good prize pools. And, of course, lower management fees, which is just putting money back in your pocket. All right, guys. Thanks for joining. Good luck, and I will be back tomorrow.